Good evening. Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Saturday if you're over here. I am so happy to see you all today and looking forward to today's chat. I'm Beth Reeves. I'm a care manager currently living in China, and I talk about different things each day, kind of have themes each day. But my last day of the week is my free for all. I get to talk about anything. So I've last week I did Storytime, Amazing Women, and it was so much fun. So today I'm going to do another one, Storytime, Amazing Women. And today we're going to look at, and the thing that's fun about this is that I'm also learning. Like these are people that I like. I did not know about the person I'm talking about today. I didn't know about her until a couple of weeks ago and I'm just so grateful that these stories are still available. They're still reaching me because I want to hear them. I want to hear about these women. So grateful for those historians and writers who are bringing, keeping these stories alive. So, yeah. So today we're looking at Alexandra David-Néel. And let me just what was I gonna show first? Oh, yeah, I think I just have a screenshot picture of her and her life. Um, Sorry. What was I gonna show? Hold on a second. Stay tuned. One second, one second. She was born in Paris in 1868. Oh yeah, this is what I was want to show, and it didn't show up because I didn't have it enlarged. Okay, let me try that again. Window. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So I will just leave these pictures up here. I have more pictures, but I'm gonna leave. Hey, Chili Bean. I'm gonna leave this up and like read a little bit about her, and then more pictures because there actually were a surprising number of pictures, considering that the time that she lived and what she did and her travels. So that's kind of fun. All right, so let me go to my little script here. Uh, So I had ChatGPT help me, dramatize this a little bit. So we're going to try the script. Imagine the year 1924. Tibet is closed to foreigners, and the capital city of Lhasa is forbidden territory. Anyone caught entering illegally would be expelled or worse. And now imagine, hey, Bloom, um, a 55-year-old European woman quietly walking across the Himalayas disguised as a poor pilgrim. Her clothes are dirty. Her face is darkened with soot. She carries only a small bag of food and prayer items. For months, she walks across frozen mountain passes. Her name was Alexandra David-Néel, and she was about to do something no Western woman had ever done before. And this is amazing, but honestly, like I kind of like the whole arc of her story even more. So let's go back to the beginning. Okay, she was born in 1868 near Paris, so she's French. Um, she was already interested in, philosophy and spiritual traditions and distant cultures, even as a young child. And at 18, she ran away to London to study Eastern religions. And then, oh wait, this doesn't say it. Wait, there was another one. It's really great. Hold on a second. I have to find because the wording was so funny. So, she was like already like breaking convention because she didn't want to get married. She was obviously like interested in these wanting to travel and things like that. But so she didn't want to get married, and at 18, she did enroll in university. She enrolled at the Sorbonne, which was still unusual at that time. But and it was to study Oriental language and philosophy. And then she went to India alone at age 23. so like this would be she was born in, 1868, so this is still, the late 1800s, right? Middle, whatever, 70, yeah. So late 1800s. She goes to India by herself at age 23. So then she lived at a spiritual center in Madras, studying Sanskrit, practicing yoga, and she was happy. And then she ran out of money. She had like a little stipend or whatever that she was using, a little modest inheritance, and so then that was gone. So she came back to Europe, and this is the sentence I love. She did what practical young women did to survive. She became an opera singer. I guess maybe that is what I mean, I don't know if that was meant to be funny or if that was, but that is what she did. She went back to Europe. She studied music at the conservatory and became an opera singer. And then she performed across Europe's finest theaters. She was talented, successful, admired, and this says she, absolutely miserable. So she was not happy. Um, Julie Bean says, so practical. Yeah, I mean, amazing. So, and I guess like in these three pictures, I kind of like these are like three different parts of her life, right? Basically. So, like this first one, I think is from her opera singing days. Looks like it to me. So that's what that first picture is. Excuse me. Oh, it's a frog in my throat today. So then uh, we're in 1904 now. So she's 36 and she gets married. So she marries this guy, Philip Nael, and wait, did she hyphenate her name? Was she born Alexandra David? Oh, it doesn't say. That would be also interesting, right? Because I mean, I think that would probably be unusual too. Anyway, his last name is Nael, so I'm assuming her maiden name was David. Okay. So she gets married, age 36. He's rich. He's a prosperous railroad engineer. Um, And so then she tries to give the married life a go. So for several years, she's like in the wife society and she's married. And Philippe was kind. He was a good guy. He was kind, intellectually curious, and generous man. Still, she was not happy. So finally, then in 1911, at age 43, so I mean, that was like 7 years of marriage now. At age 43, she says, I'm leaving. I'm returning to Asia. I can't tell you when I'll be back. And then again, this is what I love. What Philippe did at that point is he said, what did he say? He said, okay. The man said, okay. Ugh, I just love it. And he supported her financially for the rest of her life. And he stayed in touch with her. Like they wrote back and forth. They remained married, they didn't get divorced, and they wrote letters back and forth. I know, right? Bloom says, oh, I know. It's like making my eyes tear up. I love it so much. So so then we're at age 43. She's going to go back to Asia and by herself again. And then we're going to have 3 decades in Asia now. So she's at 43. This woman lived to be 101, by the way. Well, almost. You can see there it's 100 years. She lived to be 100 for sure, but she was almost 101 when she passed. It was like 1 month away. All right. So she's in Asia. Um, so she first goes to India. She's there for 14 years. And then she starts traveling to Tibet, China, Mongolia, and Japan. She became a Buddhist master. She spent 2 years living in a Himalayan cave, meditating and studying in conditions that would break most people. She mastered Tibetan language and Sanskrit. She learned Tumo. That's what we talked about when we did the hot cold technique. Tumo is where you control the heat of your own body, and they would go out and sit in the ice and melt the ice with their own body. That was Tumo. So she learned Tumo, and um, and then there's two different versions of this part of the story. One says she adopted a young Siamese monk. He became her son, her companion, and her fellow seeker for the had a disconnect there. Are you guys still there? it says chat disconnected. And the last time this happened, I think I don't know if the chat reconnected. Oh, it says it's connected. If you're there, leave a message. If you're not, I don't know what how to do it. I mean, yeah, I don't know how to reconnect the chat if you're not there. Oh, you're there. Okay, good. Um, so okay, so and then there was another one that just said like he became her companion. So I'm just saying, we don't know for sure, right? We don't know. But there was a young man, and he became her companion and traveled with her for the next 40 years. And they traveled together on this exciting part of the journey, which was to go to the forbidden capital of Tibet. So um, Tibet was sealed to foreigners at the time, and Lhasa, in particular, was a forbidden city. It was sacred, and Westerners were barred from entering. And if you attempted it, you could be expelled, or you could be imprisoned or killed. So it says that many people had tried, Westerners had tried, men with resources and official backing and everything, and they were all denied. But Alexandra um, met a monk who had successfully reached Lhasa disguised as a Chinese doctor. So she thought, if he can do it, I can do it. Oh, Bloom says, it sounds like Georgia O'Keeffe and her hubby. Oh, really? Although she only went to New Mexico from New York. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about Georgia O'Keeffe. Oh my gosh, I'll have to look into that. Ah, yay. Yay for these supportive men. Support these artistic and amazing women. Yay. Um, so then finally we get to this story where in 1923, at age 55, the woman walks through the Himalayas in the wintertime, disguised as a beggar, to reach the forbidden city of Lhasa in Tibet. So, um, yeah, they slept in caves and abandoned shelters. They ate whatever they could beg or scavenged. They avoided main roads and military checkpoints. And then in February 1924, they walked through the gates of Lhasa. And then she remained there for like 2 months in Lhasa. They attended sacred ceremonies. They studied in monasteries. Alexandra observed everything, absorbing knowledge no Western woman had ever been allowed to access. She just walked around this holy city for 2 months, disguised as a beggar. And then eventually she left, and there's a different perspectives. Maybe she was discovered, or maybe she left by choice, but she she did leave after a couple of months, and then she returned to France. So then at 1925, when she's 57, after these 14 years in Asia, she goes back to France, and she bought a house, and she wrote her book. So the book that's here, this is her book. She wrote it. It's her words. And then she became a teacher, and she became sharing the knowledge that she'd learned. She wrote, oh my gosh, guys, she wrote more than 30 books about Buddhism, Tibet, and Asian philosophy. She influenced the Beat Generation writers like Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac. She shaped how the West understood Tibetan Buddhism. She received France's highest honors, including the Legion of Honor. But most importantly, she lived exactly as she chose. Um, so then Philippe died in 1941, having supported her work for 3 decades despite rarely seeing her. She mourned him as the partner who gave her freedom. Her Tibetan companion, Yongden, died in 1955. Alexandra was 87 at that time and was devastated, but she continued writing, studying, and corresponding with scholars worldwide. She died on September 8th, 1969, just weeks before her 101st birthday. So, um, and if you think, oh, this is nice too. It talks about like if you think about in 1868, women couldn't vote, they couldn't own property, they couldn't access higher education. They were expected to be wives and mothers. She became an opera singer, a scholar, a Buddhist practitioner, an explorer, an author, a homeowner, and a legend. So, wow. So now what I want to do is I want to just show you some more pictures because again, I was really so happy to see um, some that there were so many different pictures. And I want to just check. I had one other like thing of writing. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything key here. Um, yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so let's just look at a few more pictures. So just my Google. I'm going to just to show you the Google here because I couldn't pick. There were just so many. Isn't this incredible that we can see all these pictures? It's so cool. Let's see if I can make them a bit bigger. And then, and I'll put the book in the link too. It's supposed to be great. I haven't read it, but it's supposed to be amazing. And so, so here, the very first picture here, that's her as a teacher, right? That's her as the Buddhist master. The young one I've already showed you. I think that's her as an opera singer. And then that third one, that's going to be her obviously in Tibet. Um, Here is one of her hiking. There's another one of her in Tibet. Oh wait, is there more to the right? Yeah. Oh, they're kind of repeating a little bit. This one looks almost like a color photo. Would they have color? Would they have had color photography at that time? The late 1800s? You all might know that better than me. Here's actually a picture of Lhasa, which is incredible. Like again, like who had the camera? Who had the camera? If all they were traveling with is the begging bowl, like who's taking these pictures? Okay, here's a lovely picture of the companion, Yongden, with her. So cool. And oh my gosh, there's a picture of her as a little girl. Oh, there she is older. Oh, Alexandra. Here she is at the little her house. Oh my gosh. So I guess that'd be so fun to see it. Maybe you could go visit her house in where she settled. It wasn't in Paris, it was like outside of Paris. So um Bloom says, amazing. I think in our earlier history as humans, it was much more common for people to have somewhat open relationships where they were still in love and committed, but sometimes lived apart and even took lovers while apart, but still always loving each other. I think Christianity becoming so prevalent is what changed that in modern day societies. Yeah. I mean, I think Christianity has been prevalent for so long, though. Also, she was French. Just saying. She was French. Oh, you think that was a sepia photo? Okay, I thought it looked like a little pink, but yeah, maybe it was just sepia. Billy Bean says, sad to think we've gotten more closed-minded as we progressed. For sure. Um, what was I going to check? Oh, I just wanted to tell you the name of the city where she ended up buying her land and her house. I can get back to that page really quick. Nope. Oh, darn it. Maybe I closed it. Yeah, here it is. I don't know if anybody is interested to travel to France to see her home, but I would be curious to see it. Yeah, Ding Lei Bain. Oh yeah, it's a museum now. The Dalai Lama has visited it. Her home. Oh wow. I'll put the name in here, the city. Dean, because it's French. Mm, let me make sure I'm spelling it right. Ding Lei Bain. Yeah. So Bloom says Christianity wasn't as pervasive as it is now. It's pushed across the world as accepted practice morals. Oh. Interesting. So you think that we're living in a time of like the most pervasive Christianity? You think it's more pervasive now than it ever has been? Could be. I just feel like, I don't know. I guess Catholicism was pretty prevalent, right? It wasn't necessarily the Protestant Christianity, but still, it's Christianity. All the wars that were fought for Catholicism, all that. It's been going on for a long time. So, isn't that amazing, y'all? Alexandra David-Néel, amazing woman. Wow. All right. Thank you for listening to my story time. Oh, Jillian said there was color photography in 1861, but not commercially available until 1935, or successful in 1935 from Kodak. Oh, okay, cool. So that, yeah, probably that was not a color photo then, because that would have still, she looked young, and that would have had to be, the late 1800s, like 1890 or something, probably. So Bloom's probably right. It's probably sepia. So. Yeah, and actually, and I'll put well, I'll just put the link. I was going to put it in the chat, but I'll put the link for like her book and stuff in the comments. So, yeah, this is so fun. I like doing the story time. It's a good way to end the week. Well, I hope you all have a great, great weekend. I did not get my coffee yet, so I'm going to go get my coffee, and I will be back in a little bit. Um, and Gingerman says, on a less important note, Jellybean says, considering the stupendous life she lived, Alexandra is one of my favorite names. It's even named your Cabbage Patch Kid Alexandra. Yeah. Well, now there's even more reason to celebrate the name, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Aw. All right. Thank you so much, you all. Have a wonderful weekend. We've got a couple of days. This is my last day with Confucius. Bye, Confucius. It's been lovely. Um, I do head out to a new location today. I'm going back to the Kung Fu Center. So when I see you next week, I'll be back probably with my little pigtails, and I don't know if I'm going to put on makeup because I won't need it. But I don't want to harm y'all. So we'll see. Don't want to shock you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing my master there and getting some more training again. So the journey continues. All right. See you in a little bit, y'all. Have a great night. Bye.